I did this. Why can't you?
Huh, why can't you?
What? 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 Why can't you? Why can't you?
Quiet on set.
Why can't you? 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 I did this. Why can't you?
Have you ever been wrong? I was like, no.
Drug. I'm gonna need you to be drug tested. Why can't I'm gonna need you to be drug? I'm gonna need you to be drug. Why can't you? I'm gonna need you to be drug. Why can't you?
It's like the name of the book, J.D. Vance and the Upcoming Constitutional Crisis. I think that's the new Harry Potter book, actually.
Oh yeah, that's what else I want to look up. Or do we want to wait until? I mean, we'll probably talk about it Saturday or Friday.
Oh yes, I heard about that. I mean, I heard about that because Graham's chat never stops.
Dude, I always have like 600 messages.
What?
Yeah, I go into it and it's like, oh, you missed 1,000 messages. I'm like, great.
Like it's been 20 hours.
Why can't you? 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 Why can't you?
Here's the
I
blurb.
did this.
I don't
Why
think
can't
about
you?
it.
Have you ever been wrong? I was like, no.
Drug. I'm gonna need you to be drug tested. Why can't I'm gonna need you to be drug? I'm gonna need you to be drug. Why can't you? I'm gonna need you to be drug. Why can't you? I'm gonna need you.
Stop the blurb.
Why can't you? I'm gonna need you to be drug. Why can't you?
From Universal Studios.
Am I doing the blurb? Okay, fine. Welcome to the Spin Network production. It's brought to you by our patrons, whose continued support keeps the lights on. We got Russell, and Hayden, and Ollie, and Dutch, and Claire Levert, and tons of mice. Thank you. Subscribe, patreon.com/TheBinPodcast.
Enough, crowd. Calm down. Enough
Yeah.
with your screeching.
We get it.
We get
How's
it.
it-
We're popular.
How are things?
I'm okay. Little stinky mamas having some sleep regression, to say it easily.
News for me, I'll be moving to a new studio. I'll be living in a different place.
You can finally stop streaming from the deep state bunker that you live in.
Yeah, well, I mean, that George Soros check finally came in.
So it's time to upgrade.
It's time to upgrade. Yeah, no, the end of May. The end of May I'll be moving, so.
It's gonna be May. Get it?
Yeah.
Kay in the chat. Billy in the chat. Russell in the chat. I'm having some chai tea this morning.
I'm having a beautiful, freshly made Dr. Pepper.
Ah, homemade.
Homemade. Unfortunately, I won't be moving to Ireland, but that's a different thing.
It's a different fight.
Yeah. They don't want me, and I don't know why.
Okay, we got a couple of really, really big stories, but we have to fill the time. No, I'm just kidding. We have some other stuff that you guys got to hear about first. So let's start with Signalgate. You thought Signalgate was over. Just started, baby.
Is telling ABC News a third top Pentagon official has been placed on administrative leave as part of an investigation into alleged leaks of defense secrets. The three officials are Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's Deputy Chief of Staff, Darren Selnick, Senior Advisor Dan Caldwell, and that third official, now Colin Carroll, Chief of Staff for Deputy Secretary of Defense, Stephen Feinberg. ABC's senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez joins me now for more. Louis, what more do we know about the investigation into these alleged leaks, and how significant are they?
Hey. I should have did that.
Yeah, don't.
Hey, man, get all the assistants in here. I can't believe they let us do this.
I know, right?
They're all fucking fired.
How come none of these people are any of the people in that chat?
Yo, how could my assistant let me mess up this much? And you too. What about your assistant? What were our assistants doing to facilitate them? Like they should have known better.
How dare they?
They're bad assistants, and that's why we're gonna have to let you all go.
You know how they say the buck always stops at the top? Well, in this case, they're just letting shit roll downhill.
It's more like instead of the buck stopping, it's like the bag of chips that's stuck in the vending machine. So then you buy another one, and then that gets stuck too, and you're like, ah! So at this point, they got 3 bags of chips stuck in the vending machine, 3 bags of Fritos that are not coming down. So they're shaking the machine violently at this point.
I can't wait for like the assistant to the vice president to be on the chopping block. Like he also like was involved. Like
everybody's assistant who was
yeah.
Oh, I forgot one. We'll let
Tulsi
this play.
Gab.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Let me grab that.
Dan, it is
Enlarge.
very significant, given that these are very important individuals within the structure, within the inner circle around Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. What we do know is that on March 21st, the Chief of Staff of the Pentagon, he issued a directive that an investigation should be launched into unauthorized disclosures. Now, this followed Elon Musk's visit here to the Pentagon, which was leaked the night before. It caused us quite the stir. We also know that there was an investigation into information that a second aircraft carrier was being sent out to the Middle East. On information about Chinese war plans in Panama, military plans being now drawn up for the Panama Canal. So there were quite a large number of stories that came out around the same time frame, and apparently this triggered an investigation. Now the question is, how are these individuals all related? Do they even have anything to do with those?
They're cousins.
Stories that I just listed, or was it?
Well, they're not brothers. They're all too different of ages.
Something else.
They're cousins.
No
but all
way.
we do know is that these individuals were escorted out of the building at a certain point very suddenly here over the last 2 days, and that these individuals are that officials are confirming that these individuals are tied to unauthorized disclosure. So it's quite the scene here at the Pentagon. A lot of confusion as to what is actually going on, but the stated reason is that it all ties back to this leak investigation.
Tim, don't you worry your pretty little head. All right? It's not a big deal.
It couldn't possibly be a big deal.
There's no possible way that there's any kind of non-transparent malfeasance going on in the White House.
Is coming forward with claims that Doge not
whistleblower.
only accessed data from his agency, but also took a substantial amount of sensitive data with them.
Whoa.
According to a disclosure shared with Congress, quote, around 10
Wait, no, the Democrats are making that all up. They're making it up.
gigabytes of data, or quote, the equivalent of a full stack of encyclopedias worth if someone printed these files as hard copy documents, unquote. Now, that data came from the National Labor Relations Board. That's an independent federal agency that investigates allegedly unfair labor practices by private sector employers and unions and collects and stores sensitive and confidential information.
Hey,
Got your data, dumbass.
there's no way they're gonna do anything bad with that.
No,
they
no way.
needed it.
There's no way that they would do anything bad with that.
MAGA Trumpers, trolls in the chat, when you get to the comment section, please describe why they needed this information and why they needed to take it with them and why they lied about it. Because they promised up and down that they had read-only access, remember? Read-only access.
Well, and they also promised full transparency.
Yeah, we put up a website which is just a clone of the Twitter feed.
They promised the most transparency possible.
But hey, man, they said, no, we didn't go in there with hard drives. No, we didn't do that. Let me run it back. What do you say?
Private sector employers and unions and collects and stores sensitive and confidential information in the process. It's the type of information the Democratic Senator Chris Murphy asked the head of the National Labor Relations Board,
Scott in the chat,
if she would protect from Elon Musk during her, oh, I'm sorry, it asked the Secretary of...
Russell says read-only doesn't prevent copy, it only prevents modifying. Well, they're even worse.
Yeah.
Even worse, because they made it seem like, nah, dog, we were just in there to read shit.
Yeah, we're just there to see what's going on, not take data.
Steal data.
Labor, rather, if she would protect this data from Elon Musk during her confirmation hearing in mid-February.
And this is an individual who owns companies that have existing investigations. He has a direct interest in
Connecticut Senator.
getting information about the seriousness of those investigations.
Connecticut's been making some moves.
Yeah, man, Connecticut's fucking out there doing shit.
Y'all out here getting in good trouble. I like to see it.
There's only like 5 of them, but they're all doing shit.
Hey, they got 5 things to do. God damn it! Like
Investigations. He has interest in getting information about investigations against his competitors.
So that's the reason why it should be protected, among others. Joining us now, Daniel Baroulis. He's the whistleblower that we were talking about, as well as his attorney, Andrew Buckeye. And Daniel, you're fairly new to...
So there's no way, Tim. There's no way that... I mean, clearly this guy's he's a plant.
Yeah, clearly.
He's some rabid liberal, probably woke, probably has the mind virus. I mean, there's no way this guy is just a normal ass dude who is kind of like freaked the fuck out. It's impossible, because Big Balls, and that's probably how he makes people refer to him in real life, IRL, said, hey, give me the server room key. And they're like, who the fuck is this dude with a shirt that says Big Balls? Get him out of here. No big balls for you, sir. It is nerds like this, my man with the purple tie. It is nerds like him that help the world go round. They're everywhere in a million different server rooms all over. And it's guys like him that help this whole little modern thing tick. And for that, I salute you.
To this role, this is your first TV interview as a whistleblower. And also, you're fairly new to the role at the National Labor Relations Board. You're just under a year with the agency. How did you first deduce that there was a problem?
So I spent a lot of time in the private sector, and you start to see these indicators of compromise sometimes, and they kind of raise red flags. And so when you start seeing those, you put together the puzzle, and more likely than not, that's how you flesh out a breach. And I saw those same indicators in my agency and started raising the flag.
So in your complaint that you shared with Congress, you include this screenshot we're going to show. It shows a large spike in data leaving the national...
By saying we had only... Geez, zero? Just run right over me. Read-only access, it makes it sound kind of benign. But any access that allows copying onto another disk is a lot worse if it's people's confidential data. Yeah, they were in the sanctum sanctorum copying shit.
Labor Relations Board.
Oh God, is that a? Oh my God. Yo, they got who shit did they get? That is very targeted.
Yeah.
Got your data, dumbass.
Damn, that is a definite. Somebody took that shit. Oh my God, what was it?
I don't know, but someone definitely took. Like, just look at that.
That's
look at
10
the amount
gigs.
of data that normally leaves on a daily basis. Like the amount of data that normally leaves.
It's under. It's like at probably 300 to 550.
Right.
Average.
Like and you
Megabytes.
you would expect that. It's The data,
Little
emails
trickles.
go, yeah, like little bits. But this spike here is ridiculous.
9.5 gigs all at once, and that's in one day. That's in an hour.
Yeah.
Oh boy, they got caught. They got caught doing whatever they were doing.
Or you say that's extremely unusual because data almost never directly leaves the databases. How do you know what was being removed, and is it possible you saw something that has a plausible explanation behind it?
I definitely would prefer that, actually. I've tried to prove the negatives multiple times.
He's one of them.
It correlates directly with data that was exiting the database.
Is that what was copied out? Yeah.
At the same time, there's a lot of corroborating evidence that points to it. That was the first thing I tried to do, is just rule out every other solution before I went this route.
We reached out to the White House about your claims, which obviously were made public when you came forward and went to Congress. You got this statement, quote, "It is months old news that President Trump signed an executive order to hire DOJ employees at agencies and coordinate data sharing."
What you mean it's months old news? We did not know this.
They're highly qualified team.
They're trying to say that, like, yeah, of course Elon was there. We told him to go there.
Anybody tell him to be up in that building?
Hire DOJ employees at
I was going to say, once again, this is Elon Musk not understanding how government computers work. The whole coordinate data sharing thing. What the reason, again, that they don't do a lot of that is so that they're less easily hacked from the outside. And now they're hacking them from the inside.
But what if Russia really needs some tax information?
I mean, they're just going to give it to them at this point. At agencies and coordinate data sharing. Their highly qualified team has been extremely public and transparent in its efforts to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse across the executive branch, including the National Labor Relations Board, unquote. What's your response to that?
So I believe that if that was true, we would have access to the code that they're running. We would be able to see these things that they're hiding.
Why don't you show your work, big boy?
Yeah. Big balls.
Big balls. Let me see what you're running over there.
I don't believe that there's transparency, and that's all I'm asking for here.
And Andrew, give us the view, the 30,000-foot view here, because obviously this data could be beneficial to others.
Data, dumbass.
Either corporations or even a foreign actor with malign intention. How do you know that?
So we know that because the information that the National Labor Relations Board looks at are basically corporate documents and things that involve unions. So there's a lot of sensitive corporate information that is included within this, which, yes, could be of interest to Elon Musk, but at the same time they're of interest to...
He went straight to Mark Zuckerberg.
Yep.
That's where he went. He said, "Give me all the Zuckerberg shit."
I mean, I would too.
Or Bezos. He went for Bezos. You know what I'm saying? He went for one dude.
Yeah.
And said, "Give me all their files."
I mean, I mean, they were looking for something very specific.
Yeah. Or maybe like a group of people. I don't know how much data each person would take up. I don't know. There's 350 million of us. I guess you could put that. I don't know. I don't know what that would break down to per person. And then what if some people have more stuff than other people?
Some people definitely have more stuff than other people. I can attest to that.
So that might just be Mark Zuckerberg.
Like, it really depends on, like, I don't know, man.
Ooh, maybe it's his own stuff and he deleted it.
They said it was like an entire encyclopedia's worth of information that was stolen. That was about like 9.5 gigs. Like the whole set. They stole the whole set. All the Encyclopedia Britannicas. With the pictures.
Images? Not images.
With the images.
to our foreign adversaries. I'd like to step back for a moment and talk about what the larger implication is here. So this is happening at the NLRB, at the National Labor Relations Board. But Dan is brave enough to come forward, and there are others within the government that I've talked to and that we've talked to who have seen something identical as this. There are two data points that I want to point out that should give everybody pause. The first thing what Dan witnessed was that within 15 minutes of Doge employees creating user accounts, i.e. usernames and passwords, within 15 minutes of those accounts being created, somebody or something from Russia tried to log in with the right username and right passwords. That is to say, the right credentials. And that happened.
Few of those when I went through puberty. Honka honka, we're all gonna die. Anyway,
Yeah, that does feel like a honka honka, we're all gonna die moment.
Bro, you let the Russians in?
Yeah, Big Balls probably. It was probably, the password was probably Big Balls.
Oh my
Big
god.
Balls at Doge.gov. And then the password was probably I'm awesome one exclamation point Russia. So that's how you knew.
Like, did he literally just like make it there and like signal it over to the dude in Russia? Like, how was?
Yeah.
Or do we just happen to get hacked that day with the correct username and like, dude?
Right.
They didn't brute force it and like guess the fucking password 1,000,000 times in 2 seconds. They had the password.
While correlation is not causation, we can infer that it's very likely that happened. That thing happened.
Well, hey, maybe it was Joe Biden. They wanted all the Joe Biden shit, and maybe they did. Maybe they just want the Bidens.
They want the pictures of Joe Biden in the Corvette with the fucking aviators, so they could be like, oh man, that guy looks so cool.
Like, I am very reluctant to give Joe Biden any compliments, but it is so funny watching shitbag fucking
I love Tesla.
try to climb in one of those and not understand anything that's going on, and then you like
got all the computers.
Look at all the computer.
Look at all...
It's all computer.
I think my favorite Trump vehicle interaction is the time during his first term when he got to go into the semi, because he was having like we should support our truckers, and he like does the honk and he's like, yes, this is super cool, I love semis. He looked like a 5-year-old.
Yeah. He looked like a little orange safety cone on a field trip.
He's like, this is the best. This is why I wanted to be president.
I'm doing my dreams.
But yes, Trump would never look cool in a car.
Oh, and then so take the video of him crawling all over the dumpster. The rolling dumpster, or failing to figure out, you want me to start up the Tesla so you can hear the engine? Like his big stupid fucking dumbass.
He looks like there's no engine.
You're fucking stupid. Just big stupid motherfucker. Yeah, start it up for you. But then you got Joe Biden just like, yep. Yeah, she's a 65. I keep her in good, clean shape. This is Hunter Green, named after my son.
They only let me drive it in the White House driveway.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a fucking bitchin' vet, and you don't even know how to get in a Tesla. So...
Try to log in with the right username.
But anyways, back to Russia has all of our shit. Goddamn.
Employees creating user accounts, i.e. usernames and passwords, within 15 minutes of those accounts being created, somebody or something from Russia tried to log in with the right username and right passwords. That is to say, the right credentials. And that happened over 20 times. The second data point, which is really critical, is that Doge has also been using Starlink as a means to exfiltrate.
Fucking great. Just do whatever you want.
I don't like Elon Musk. I'm going to say it 50,000 times.
Trade data. What that means is that, from our understanding, that Russia has a direct pipeline of information through Starlink, which means that anything going through Starlink is going to Russia. We also know that this is not unique to the NLRB. This is happening government-wide. And then the other thing that I wanted to flag for everybody is that right now, and I don't want to say that this is intentional, it could very well have been a mistake, is that critical infrastructure databases in many government agencies, as we understand it, have been exposed to the open internet, which includes critical data.
Once again, that is why government computers...
Yes. Yeah, those when I went through puberty. Honka honka, we're all gonna die. Anyway.
That is why government computers do not share that much so that they can be compartmentalized and
Dude.
isolated and not access to the open internet. God.
Why would you do that?
Fucking hell, man. Elon, listen, at this point, either Elon is very dumb, and it's entirely possible, or he's doing this all on purpose.
Like, brother.
Or both.
Why are you just grabbing a random Ethernet cable you found in a parking lot and plugging it into the fucking the
Right.
U.S. Like, why?
Once again, the basic training that I went through for data security for the Congresswoman was don't plug your computer in outlets you don't know. Don't give other people access to your information and the phishing emails. Don't go through the phishing emails. And it's like if someone you don't know is trying to contact you about your information, don't give it to them.
I mean,
if you're not even allowed to plug in your government laptop into an outlet that you don't know because you don't know if that outlet is bugged.
Bro, we're on the same level of security as MySpace right now.
It's fucking crazy.
We are the Yahoo News of governments.
They all got, I mean, you have to assume they have it all at this point.
Yeah. Compromised. Like, too late.
So the signal chat doesn't even matter. Everyone knew it was going to happen anyway.
Databases at the
They're already in the call.
Department of Energy, which includes a lot of our nuclear regulatory agency material. So
awesome.
So right
Our
now,
nukes.
the real concern is that this is not unlike Chernobyl and all of the control panels lighting up after the meltdown. This is serious, and I just want to commend Dan for coming forward to bring this to everybody's attention because this really is the tip of the iceberg.
Andrew, how can you say, how do you know that somebody was logging in from Russia in that 15-minute period?
Dan actually saw that happen.
Yeah, there's logs and records we keep that show they geotag based on latitude.
Bro,
that dude better get security.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Longitude where login's coming from, and we saw blocked ones from Russia using that account.
You also told our producer that shortly after sharing your concerns about a
Speaking of, Tim,
potential breach, that you received a threat at your home, including photographs. What did the photographs show? Was there a message?
The message was clear, although poorly constructed. It was to stop looking, stop reporting. The pictures were of me walking my dog from above.
Basically,
like a satellite photo?
No, it was actually taken by a drone. Yeah. What's really disturbing about all of this is that we had somebody literally either themselves or have somebody go to.
Oh man, the Russians got drones on them.
Yeah.
Dan's home and tape a threatening note, a menacing note that included a lot of personal information. There was a clear reference to his whistleblowing activities ahead of our filing, and with an image basically threatening him as he's walking his dog. That image was taken via drone. We've taken this very seriously. And by the way, I've done this for a number of years professionally, and this is something that really takes me aback. And it's only something that I've seen maybe once or twice in handling whistleblower claims, both public and private sector.
All right. Daniel Baroulis and Andrew Buckeye.
Got your data, dumbass.
Why does it always have to be an I told you so?
I don't know, man.
Why does it always have to be? Why can't motherfuckers just do shit that makes sense? How hard is that? God damn. Don't let the weirdos from 4chan and SpaceX go with the ketamine addict into where all the files are. To be obvious.
Once again, it's either purposeful or very dumb or both. At this point, it's probably both.
Probably both. Both in amounts we didn't know were possible on the same side.
Like, the fact that there's no oversight over this except for one committee that's chaired by Marjorie Taylor Greene. and there's no actual, like, you can't question Elon.
Right.
Because he'll refuse to show up to any sort of questioning. He just has unfettered access to the data of the government, and he's going to do whatever he wants with it. And
he's feeding it all to Grok.
Right, and that's our data. It's the people's data. Those are the people's servers.
Damn it. Speaking of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Now from Fox, I'm your host, Christina Evans. As promised, after that 2-minute break, we are now turning our attention to the Atlanta, Georgia area, showing you this live look that we have there in the city. But we're going to be focusing on something that happened just north in Cobb County. Georgia's Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene hosted a town as to those what was so from that.
Ho ho! MTG has got to go.
Before Congresswoman Marjorie
That was not very enthusiastic.
It was not.
Taylor Greene's town hall started. Protesters lined the streets.
She is for chaos. She is not for us.
We need someone who is in touch.
Reckless plus chaotic does not equal efficient. Nice.
I mean, that's pretty true. Yeah.
With reality and in touch with a moral center. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is neither.
Welcome, everyone. Moments after the Congresswoman took the stage, several protesters were thrown out of the town hall. Ackworth police used tasers on 2 of them. If you want to shout...
Whoa, man.
Yo. What are y'all doing?
If that's not authoritarian, I don't know what is.
What are y'all doing?
The whole point of these town halls is for voters to show up and like express their concerns. And you're fucking out there tasing the people?
Not a good look.
After the Congresswoman took the stage, several protesters were thrown out of the town hall. Ackworth police...
I'm gonna have to get the whole thing.
...used tasers on...
Because I want to hear what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, hold on.
It's on there. It's on C-SPAN.
I'm nosy. I want to see the, you know what I'm saying? I want to see the fight. I thought they was going to put some of the fight in there.
I don't know if the C-SPAN cameras catch the tasing, but you definitely get the whole exchange.
Let me see. You said C-SPAN was there? Oh,
yeah, C-SPAN was there, yeah.
No, don't be giving me no 2-minute video.
Nah, it's like almost an hour.
That's what I'm saying. Why are they playing games? Oh, was this 2 days ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Where the whole thing at? Oh, Forbes? Does Forbes have it?
I had a Landon in the chat.
Landon! Hi, Landon.
And Paul and Billy.
Hold on, I'm getting your...
Scott.
I can't find the, Oh, here we go. Maybe?
Yep, that's the one.
Needed more resources, and that was always...
Filmed on a genuine russet potato.
It was all the way at the beginning, Mikey. It was like literally 2 minutes in.
Oh, for real?
For real.
The town stand up and want to protest. If you want to protest, this is a town who are great political rally. This is not a protest. If you stand up and want to protest, if you want to shout and chant, we will have you removed just like that man was thrown out. We will not tolerate.
Oh, it was before that. All the way at the beginning.
Oh, there we go.
It's been a great day. Oh, it has been. Everybody's really excited. I've enjoyed all of it. I feel blessed to have y'all in the district. God bless. Thank you.
Hey, sir, you clapping real loud. Like, how they know? I don't like your aggressive claps. You keep smacking your hands together in a threatening fashion. Let me see your ID.
Can I take this off? Oh, this is wired. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, officer, for tasing that man.
Yeah, that's homeboy that got tased.
He went, ah!
Thank you. Thank you to our great police officers.
Ugh. Can't see anything.
On 2 of them.
If you want to shout and chant, we will have you.
Remember when she did that at the State of the Union? Never mind. That was probably somebody else. That was somebody different. That wasn't her.
Removed just like that man.
Once the town hall finally got underway, Representative Greene told those in attendance our country is stronger in just the 3 months since President Donald Trump took office.
Yeah, stronger. That's what I would call it.
By what metric?
No, there's no metric.
With what do you use as a measuring stick to calculate the strength? What is the tactile strength of that? Like, what are you talking about? What's the hardness rating?
Well, let's take the market here. Since Donald Trump took office, the Dow Jones. Let's see. So Donald Trump took office. The Dow Jones was about 45,000 points.
Oh,
45,000. Mike, you want to guess what the Dow Jones is today?
44.
30 below 40. There 39,500 points.
That's not that big of a deal.
No, that's
Just
more
10%.
than 10%. Yeah, that's more than 10% of the market there.
Just shriveled up,
Gone.
curled up and gone.
I believe the only metric by which you can say that Trump made things better is that inflation is slightly lower. For now.
Yeah, for now.
Like it's April, so like you can be like, oh, Joe Biden did that. Like you can't. So it is unexpectedly, inflation is down just a tiny bit.
But look at my free speech. I can say the R word and the P word now because I was, blocked by magic spell before that.
But guess what, guys? The chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, said that inflation is going to go through the fucking roof because of the tariffs.
Yes.
And Trump is like, we need to fire that guy.
It's not going to make it not true.
It's not going to make it not true.
You can't fire all your problems away, Donnie. Keep telling you.
Pointed to the economy, cutting up government waste, and securing the border.
And how's she going to go after PBS and then stand up there acting like she's some sort of human being? You are no human if you're trying to get rid of fucking Zaboomafoo, the damn Zoom kids, like
Sesame Street.
Yeah. They went to HBO.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about 10 years ago.
Oh.
They made it to the big time. Good thing they did, because fucking who knew that MTG was like up on the grassy knoll fucking waiting for him.
Yeah, but she wants to fire like LeVar Burton and all that, right?
Yeah.
You can't fire LeVar Burton.
You can't go at like all the PBS specials that raised me. You know how many science documentaries I've watched thanks to PBS, and my interest in science and nature was all due to PBS.
Even mentioning Lake and Riley.
She lost her life to a criminal, an animal, a murderer that should have never been in our country.
Representative Greene spoke for about 30 minutes, then answered questions that had been submitted, including one about President Trump's executive orders.
And also, let me point out here, this is not a town hall. This is her giving a speech. No one in the audience was allowed to ask any questions. They were not allowed to talk. They were allowed to clap.
Yeah, she did it a different way than most people do it, where she took written questions beforehand, and she answers them throughout the thing. But no one, yeah, you're right, no one's allowed to talk or say anything except for clapping. And if you clap too loud, you might get tased by the police.
You saw how Homeboy in the Gray was clapping way too aggressively. That was clapping with an intent to thrill.
I have several bills that actually are President Trump's executive orders. One of them is the Gulf of America Act.
And as the
Jesus.
God fucking damn it.
This is so embarrassing. Can we do like, we're going to have to start doing like what China does and start like limiting our media. We're going to have to start like censoring it so people like so some of our shame is covered. Like, God, what if someone else saw that?
Scott says it was canned clapping. They were piping in clapping.
Ugh. What?
I don't.
How did we get to? I was just a little kid. I didn't know I was supposed to be going to college so I could save fucking America.
Honka honka, we're all gonna die.
town hall came to an end. More protesters shouted from their seats and were countered with chants from supporters.
Is that all they got?
We also
by the
have to
way?
recognize.
Yeah.
A USA chant is all they got?
Yeah. That was whack.
Come up with something fucking original if you're gonna chant
MTG
something.
for me. MTG. Like they ain't have nothing.
Right.
I just
do
came up with that.
Do like a wrestling chant or something like.
Or do fucking Seven Nation or One Nation Army. Or is it Seven Nation? Seven Nation Army.
We also have to recognize that the majority in the room were standing and cheering when those people were thrown out. And again, it was the protesters who were out of line.
Ooh, jail for insider traders.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Yeah, they were clapping for the dudes that got fucking tased for no reason. Like they weren't a threat. There's like 10 police officers there. Just throw them out of the building.
And when they do stuff like that, where they have this accelerated police presence at these little photo op events, I mean, good thing I'm not a criminal because I'd be like, all right, we're going to rob all the banks. They literally don't have enough cops left. So if we all hit one bank, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't take all of your police force and focus them, like, put them literally standing like right next to each other.
Right.
People have to pay for that. Like, that's a service that people aren't getting now because you're wasting the cops' time. Look, tasing somebody at a town hall.
It's wild.
While
like,
3 other people hold them. It's like, God, unnecessary. I am criminal.
Anyway.
I'm done with her.
Well,
she makes me upset.
She makes everyone upset.
She upsets me.
Past hour last week, DHS officials attempted to enter 2 public Los Angeles elementary schools, asking to speak to several children. The department.
Yeah. We're only going after the criminals.
Yeah. The criminals, not the school children.
No, we're going after the fucking criminal school children.
Hey, Mikey, you don't know. Those children could be Tren de Agua.
Yeah, they're the ringleaders. See, that's how Tren de Aragua gets underneath everybody's radar. The leader, the leader has to be under 13 years old.
So they won't go to prison.
Exactly. And so they only have 3 years from 10 to 13 to learn the game and then pass it on to the next Don. It's genius.
I got a phone call. It was a week or so back that one of the Catholic archdioceses in the state was requesting that all of its school teachers present their like IDs or
their
passports
papers
or whatever. Yeah. To find out
papers, please.
Which is and we're like, there's nothing we can do about it. They're private schools. They're not public schools. Like we can maybe alert the media, but that's about it.
Kay says MS 13-year-olds. Damn it, that's good.
Damn it.
I was right there. Why couldn't I think of it? Fuck.
But if you're hiring teachers, isn't part of the hiring process getting that documentation anyway?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's so dumb.
But no, they would rather, like, if you use their logic and you say, okay, well, you got to come here the right way. So if you come here the right way and then you get given a social security number and they say, hey, go ahead and start working, you got like another year and a half before your first court date.
Yeah.
And then they get a job. And then people are like trying to kick in the door to fucking come get them out of the job. Like, this is like, we've said it a million times, but it's this administration doesn't understand how the government works. That's why they're constantly stepping on their own dick and doing shit that's like constitutionally just bad and horrible because they don't know what it says. They don't know what the rules are. And they're like, well, I'm allowed to make up the rules as I go. It's like, not for real. I mean, fuck what the Supreme Court says. It doesn't work. You have a warped understanding of how everything fucking works.
Right, and they also don't care. Even if they did know the rules, they're like, whatever. That doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I forget which amendment this violates. I think it's the 4th or the 5th. But it's illegal search and seizure, right? Depriving someone of life, liberty, or property.
Which one? What are you talking about?
Like,
what is against the Constitution? Like which part?
Just going into schools and snatching up children because you think they're immigrants. Like,
yeah.
That's violating their rights as people under the Constitution.
Yeah, it's the 4th. I think 4th and 6th.
I think it's 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Well, 5th is just they don't have to talk.
Well, 5th is they don't have to talk, and it's violating their right to life, liberty, or property.
Yeah.
And I believe it's also habeas.
Which isn't in the Constitution, but it is our laws.
Department said they were conducting wellness checks on the children. School officials turned them away, however. Joining us now, Alberto Carvalho, superintendent of the Los Angeles Unified School District and a personal friend of mine whom I very much admire. Alberto, thank you for being with
He does look digital.
us this morning. So what exactly happened in these schools?
Good morning, Jose. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Great to see you. Look, last week we had about 4 to 5 agents showing up at 2 elementary schools 2 hours apart. We believe it was the exact same team asking for access to students ranging in grade from 1st through 6th grade. Obviously,
the criminals, man.
The 1st graders?
Criminal fucking 1st graders, dog. Look, all these liberals out here keep trying to tell me that they're taking children. No, I've been assured by the president that it is only the most dangerous. And you ever seen a 1st grader who needs a nap? They're horrible.
They don't care about the rules, and good on the LA school system to not let those fucking people in.
Like, why do they think that they can just walk everywhere? Like, schools are like, have you not been in a fucking school in 20 years? They are locked down, brother. There is one entrance and you have to sign in, give ID, do the whole thing. You're not just walking in a damn school. I don't know what they thought was going to happen, but they're not going to let you in.
Breaking news, school related.
Oh boy.
There's currently an active situation at Florida State University.
Oh boy.
They don't know too much yet, but 4 people have been hospitalized. And it's ongoing.
All right. Well, then we're going to wait to say anything about it.
Yeah.
Jeez. These poor kids.
I know.
We trained our principals, our support staff in denying access to.
Also, real quick, Landon, when do you want to come on again?
Yeah, Landon.
Students,
when do you want to come on our show
without a judicial warrant, a criminal warrant signed by a judge? I would find it very difficult to believe that a 1st grader or a 2nd grader would have committed some type of crime that would require some interaction with a federal agency. So
watch out for those
the
first
principals
graders.
asked for identification from these individuals. They did produce IDs. When the principals attempted to write information from their IDs, they quickly pocketed those IDs, conveying to the principals that that was not allowed. And then they actually conveyed to the principals that they wanted to meet with the students, and they had parental permission from these students' parents to have access to them, which is counterintuitive since they did declare in a statement that was produced by the Department of Homeland Security after this incident that their reason for being at the schools was because these students were unaccompanied minors. By the way, we made contact.
So wait a minute. So you said, hey, let me in. Their parents said, I'm allowed to come talk to them. Also, these are unaccompanied minors.
Right. So which is it? Also, if they're like, their parents said it was okay, I'd be like, all right, where's the letter?
Where's
Like,
the parent?
Where's the parent?
Habeas corpus parentis.
What, like, just show me a written statement saying that their parents said it was okay with a signature, and then we can talk.
And a
Until-
warrant, and a signed
right.
warrant from a judge.
Right. Or produce the parent. Why aren't they with you?
Have the judge sign the parent and bring that in.
The judge stamp the parent.
On the forehead.
They have to be
Contact,
notarized.
with the guardians of
I want a notarized parent in here pronto.
these children. In no instance, at no point was that access granted to these federal agents.
So, Alberto, I want to be very clear, Superintendent, what the Department of Homeland Security actually said after this, and I'm just going to quote it. It says, officers were at these schools conducting
As usual, this is misleading. I hate it when they only read part of the thing. It's not that long. HSI officers were at these schools conducting wellness checks on children who arrived unaccompanied at the border. This had nothing to do with immigration enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So you sent Homeland Security instead of social worker?
Right.
DHS is leading efforts to conduct welfare checks on these children to ensure that they are safe. They're at school and not being exploited, abused, and sex trafficked. They're at school being annoying. Unlike the previous administration, President Trump and Secretary Noem take their responsibility to protect children seriously and will continue to work with federal law enforcement to reunite children with their families. If they're unaccompanied minors, so you say, then do the math.
Right.
You want to deport the kids.
Yeah.
In less than 70 days, at SecNoem and Secretary Ed Robert Kennedy Jr. have already reunited nearly 5,000 unaccompanied children with a relative or safe guardian. What's safe guardian?
Right, in the country?
Yeah. So I'm glad she said that out loud. They're grabbing children now.
Right.
And we're supposed to just trust that they're going to, what does it say? A relative or safe guardian.
Right.
So re-education camp and then into the pig farms?
Exactly. Like, once again, if they were serious about it, they wouldn't have sent Homeland Security. They would have sent
a social worker.
Social worker or immigration services or someone less threatening than a Department of Homeland Security agent.
The terrorist capturers.
Yeah.
wellness checks on children who arrived unaccompanied at the border. This had nothing to do with immigration enforcement. Superintendent, what's your response to that? And also, there is...
And it's also annoying to me that this part is highlighted and he read the first part.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Just stop.
Is a concern for maybe up to hundreds of thousands of unaccompanied minors who cross the border and
no social workers left, Michael. They all got fired. Yeah.
Keeping our elbows up, bud.
Hi, Ollie. Bill says I'm not up on the hierarchy of locals, county, state police. So like your city, like your municipal, whatever, like your town, they'll have cops. And then on the highways, you have like state troopers, and they're the highway patrol. So they kind of like their jurisdiction's usually a lot bigger than just the town that they're in, because they have to, go 20, 30 miles on the highway to chase somebody down or whatever. And then I think sheriffs are above them.
I think sheriffs are like intermingled. Like, they have jurisdiction based on counties in some states.
Right. Instead
Like,
of the city.
In Connecticut, we don't have sheriffs. We just have local and then state police. And then sometimes the state police go where there are no local police. Like if your town is too small to have its own police department, then state police will be your police. But yeah, some states have sheriffs, which are a different kind of police, from what I understand.
Yeah, and they work more closely with the courts. They serve a lot of warrants. Like eviction notices are done by the sheriff, and search warrants are done by the sheriff, or in concert with the sheriff's department. Like they're more of like the judicial side of things.
Right.
And then there's federal agents.
Yeah.
Which are law enforcement, but they work for the government.
And there's all different kinds of those. There's
post workers that are like pistol toting postal workers.
Well, I mean, because you got the FBI, U.S. Marshals, you got
the marshals work for the courts too, for the federal courts.
ATF, they have agents. Even the Treasury Department has like gun toting agents.
Fucking tactical vest and MP5. I'm here for the post office and the Treasury.
And who many times are in conditions that should be checked on, found, and make sure they're okay.
I absolutely agree. There should be wellness checks, but I think we can all agree that one of the safest places in America for children are public schools, under the protection of teachers, of principals, of superintendents. Secondly, let's be clear about one thing. This is what the agents said when they went to the schools, that they were not ICE, they were with the Department of Homeland Security. They did not state the reason as to why they want access to the students. The statement that was released after the fact does convey that message. However, it seems to be somewhat untrue because they did declare that they had spoken with the parents of these children, which would render them something less than unaccompanied, and the parents had granted them access. This is blatantly untrue. But I want to make an additional point. Look, we are compelled from a legal perspective to protect these kids based on FERPA, which is the Federal Education Rights Privacy Law. We are compelled to protect children from access to anyone on the basis of privacy and confidentiality. Secondly, under the Constitution of the United States of America, we are obliged to provide a free public education to every single student, regardless of immigration status. And then lastly, there is something called in loco parentis, which every single educator knows. In the
home rule, baby, no.
absence of a parent, I, as an educator, as a superintendent, as a principal, as a teacher, need to act in a protective manner as if I were that child's parent. So we do not grant access to anyone to have access to our children on the basis of those three very important legal parameters, no matter what.
Holding it down.
I mean, good on them. I'm not sure every school district would do that. So
yeah. Got a little treat for you.
Oh boy.
You know, you're usually supposed to save the best for last, but the JD one is so delicious, and I'm so annoyed with him today.
Ooh, he used similar imagery there. Nice.
We're going to have to start with him. Here is JD Vance a couple years ago.
This is about whether we have functional constitutional government in this country. If the IRS can go after you because of what you think or what you believe or what you do, we'd no longer live in a free country. That's what this is all about. And if you think they're not going to eventually use it against your politics, whatever they might be, it's ridiculous. They certainly will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How dare the Trump administration go after Harvard and try to get their fund. Wait a minute.
We'd no longer live in a free country. That's what this is all about. And if you think they're not going to eventually use it against your politics, whatever they might be, it's ridiculous. They certainly will.
All right. So I just want to put a finer point on this one for you, Sarah. If the IRS can go after you because of what you think or what you believe or what you do, we no longer live in a free country. So
this on the back of Trump saying, I want to be the president of Harvard. Actually,
Right.
I want to be the president of every college.
Yeah.
I want to be in charge. I want to make sure that, I mean, we read it for you guys on Tuesday, but I want to be in charge of the admissions. I want to be in charge of what classes you have, what's in the lunchroom, who's allowed to work here, what kind of contracts you guys do. And also make sure you put in a no Muslim rule. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's hilarious that this was, I think, 2 years ago.
Right.
And that's how JD Vance was talking, and not a peep out of him today.
Well, I mean, also 2 years ago, Trump was America's Hitler. So, you know.
The pupa form. I think they got some clips of the Bulwark's been doing some good work. I think they got clips of other people literally bashing. There's Ted Cruz. Let's hear how Ted Cruz doesn't like when the government impedes on people's free speech.
And all of public life. But there are principled conservatives out there like Ted Cruz. Let's see what Ted Cruz had to
Rafael Cruz.
say.
I can also assure you that were this a Republican president, a Republican attorney general, and a Republican IRS that were targeting Democrats, I at least would speak out just as vigorously against it.
Oh my God, dude, he is such perfect, like, he's such a great target. Only he could go back in time and record himself putting his foot in his mouth like this. Only he could do this.
That we're targeting Democrats. I at least would speak out just as vigorously against it. Because if we are going to respect rule of law, the apparatus of the federal government cannot and should not be used as a partisan tool to bludgeon your enemies.
Come on, man.
Come on. That's... Boy, he does a lot of that. He goes back in time and he says shit.
Marco?
Little Marco.
No way. Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, he goes back in time and he says shit that completely contradicts his shit he says today. And boy, what Trump did to Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz should be studied.
Yeah.
Weighing in on this.
Like reek. I don't even think reek is a strong enough verb for it.
Right? Like
it's worse than reek.
Spines surgically removed.
He cranged him. He just turned him into a brain in a vat.
Yeah.
Got cranged.
I don't know how Marco Rubio sits
This is
there.
still America. It's one of the first things I asked myself when I saw what was happening. When you read a headline that a powerful government agency is targeting people because of their political views, that's the kind of headline you read from other countries, not here in America.
Oh, man.
Why would he go back in time and say that?
You know what? This is AI. It's AI.
So you're absolutely right when you state it that way. That is the concern that so many of us have. I want you all to know how deeply committed I continue to be to this issue, because to me it's a fundamental issue of our constitutional rights. One of the things that separates...
Boy. Oh, boy. And they don't care. You could show Marco Rubio this video and he'd be like, yeah, okay.
He's like, that's not me.
I said that? Sure.
It's America from the rest of the...
I'm Mark Ruby.
Yeah, I didn't mean what I
is
said.
That our founders knew from history that no matter who's in charge of government, if that government gets too big and too powerful, it will abuse that power. Well, we're seeing evidence of that here now with the IRS. We need to remember our constitutional founding principles of limited government, because they are the right thing to do for our country. They're a distinguishing feature of this land, and we can never afford to lose that. And
Landon says in the chat, except when those enemies are inconvenient for your current brand of populism. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Kay says they completely disappeared Mahmoud Khalil. Yeah.
They disappeared Garcia too, but a senator from Maryland went to go visit him the other day, and they were like, nope, can't see him, even though he's definitely alive.
We have him, we say.
I will be tireless in stating that case over and over again to anyone that will listen.
These are typically the things you see in the third world, says Marco Rubio. And, I guess, to steal a line from my buddy Pablo Torre, in some ways he's right, because while we've been exporting refugees to El Salvador, it seems like we're importing El Salvadoran values and policies to America. So,
well, there you go. There's that. And there's no, and you know what? No tariffs on that, Tim.
No tariffs.
No tariffs on that. More good news.
President Trump is trying to make it easier to build in locations where endangered species live across the U.S. He's planning to do this by overhauling the Endangered Species Act. It was established in 1973 to protect fish, wildlife, and plants that are listed as threatened or endangered. Under the act, any business or activity that harms a protected species would be a violation. Well, Tracy Wolf joins us now. She's the senior coordinating producer for the CBS News Climate Unit, becoming quite a regular here on the Daily Report, and we are grateful to you for that. So how exactly could the president make it so that you could build in areas where endangered species live?
So anytime industry or business wants to develop a building, wants to drill, wants to log it.
Oh, dude, look at her last name.
Tracy Wolf.
She's so mad. You know what I mean? To be like this crunchy, granola eating, like hippie nature lady, and then for your last name to be one letter off of being like one of the sweetest apex predators out there. Damn.
Anytime they want to do some major economic activity, there's a host of environmental regulations that industry needs to abide by. What President Trump is trying to do here with the Endangered Species Act and with a lot of other environmental regulations is cut that red tape. So when the Endangered Species Act was established in 1973, the main framework of that act was to protect critical habitat for threatened and endangered species. And so what it did was it established the definition of harm, meaning you can no longer harm an animal if it could lead to that species extinction. Well, harm in this sense means building or destroying its habitat. When you look at why species go extinct, more often than not, it's not because we are hunting that species to extinction.
It's racism. The animals fight each other based on the color of their fur. It is disgusting.
It's because we're damaging critical habitat
animals.
Where the species lives that eventually renders the species extinct. So the whole purpose behind the Endangered Species Act was to conserve critical habitat. And what Trump is trying to do here is say, hey, I'm not saying that we're no longer allowed to kill these animals. I'm saying it's okay for us to go in and build in these critically endangered areas where these.
And contrary to popular belief, that's 90% of the way that animals go extinct is that their habitat disappears.
Yeah. I don't know if no one, but very few people are hunting bald eagles.
Oh, dude, they're delicious. I eat them with the feathers on.
Mikey, that's a lie. You're allergic to poultry.
That is true. Well, I might be able to eat a fucking giant assault seagull. Like, you know what those? That's what those are, right?
Assault seagulls.
They are assault seagulls. You ever heard what a bald eagle actually sounds like? It's not like that. It's not like the screech. Those are falcons. No. Hold on. I got like 90.
Around here, we got a lot of hawks.
Yeah.
We got a couple of eagles, but mostly hawks.
Here,
they're always circling around trying to eat my dogs.
Well, tell your dogs to stop looking like Tootsie Rolls. All right, here's a red-tailed hawk and a bald eagle. Go! Stupid. Yeah.
God damn.
Now here's the majestic bald eagle now.
So majestic.
It's like a fucking screen door where like the little it's like, you got like a laminate floor and it's clean and there's like one little piece of rubber that's like just like catching it as it goes through. Sounds like keys. The bird equivalent of keys.
Yeah, no, we got those red-tailed hawks around here, and that sound is like terrifying.
I love it. I think it's cool. But yeah, assault seagulls. That's what the fucking bald eagle is. Giant claws, immense grip strength, seagull. Your Cheetos are not safe.
Animals live.
So
and that's
what
what
are,
he's trying to do.
what are environmentalists saying about this? Could this lead to more endangered or even extinct species?
As you can imagine, environmentalists are incredibly concerned. As we've seen with a lot of rollbacks of environmental regulation, there's a lot of different ramifications when we start pulling back these guardrails.
Ooh, Jan says she's got a kestrel nesting in her loft. That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. We don't have those here.
Environmental organizations will fight tooth and nail. They will take the administration to court to make sure that these rollbacks don't happen. But they did say that should Trump get his way, specifically with the Endangered Species Act, we could see very long-term permanent effects of these rollbacks.
So we are expecting legal challenges.
Absolutely. I imagine that already that groups like the Center for Biological Diversity, they have been very forthright in trying to protect these species. And not just...
Bro, we're going to have to save the eagles again.
Right? We've just
God,
finished saving them.
We just saved them. This is not efficient. Making us re-save all the endangered species again.
Tons of Mice says birds aren't real.
You know what? He's right. Fuck these birds.
Against the Trump administration. I should say that these types of battles,
style.
this has been a very political act for quite some time. And even under the Biden administration, groups were suing the Biden administration for his attempts to build solar panels on federal land because that was happening in areas where the endangered sage grouse lived, for example. So this is something that we've seen under many administrations, but this is the first time that we've ever seen a...
I think we talked about this on the show one day. Just cover the highways with solar panels.
Yeah. How hard is it?
30 feet up.
Yeah. High enough for the tractor trailers to go
Yeah.
through.
Put it at an angle so that the rain falls off.
I mean, do it over not all bridges, but most bridges.
Or hanging underneath the side of the bridge.
It's a bridge. There's no trees around it.
Yeah.
You probably can't do it over like suspension bridges, but train bridges, regular bridges.
Yeah.
Scott
do
says
that.
tariff the birds.
That's what we need to do. Put them little tags on them, and then you can scan them at the checkout. As soon as they come across the border, doop, 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 doop. All right, Canada, you had 63 birds in that flock. We owe you $90.
Got all these fucking Canadian geese flying back and forth. Man, we'd make a ton.
Let me be that guy, Tim. It is not Canadian geese.
What is it then?
Canada geese.
Canada geese? No, it's Canadian.
No, it is the Canada goose. It is not the Canadian goose. We say that, but we're wrong.
Well, you know what? I would like a Canadian to correct me then.
Ollie, if you're around. Kay in the chat says Canada goose.
I say Canadian.
It's not a Canadian goose. Even if how do you know it's from Canada?
It's from Canada.
It might be from here and goes up to Canada. Canada geese equals an invasion force.
Yeah, for reals. Those birds are fucking everywhere.
Look, no one wants to eat them because they're so fucking mean.
And they're mean. They're really mean.
They're mean to everybody, so nothing eats them. So they have very large numbers.
They're so mean.
And we killed all the wolves.
That's true.
I miss nature. I want to go out and see the redwoods before they're gone. Before they're turned into fucking IKEA furniture.
Landon agrees with me. He says, I am seeing right now geese flying over the border right now. They are Canadian, and they are called Canada goose.
Ah, see? He agreed with me. How dare you?
You know, he agreed with me, too.
No,
they are Canadian geese.
They're the Canadian Canada goose.
The Canadian Canada goose.
Speaking of silly gooses.
See, Ollie agrees with me, too.
Ollie's barely Canadian. His island just happens to be friends with Canada. He's on a totally separate thing. Gina, air horn. Person impersonator. I think it's everybody. UK. What the fuck?
Yeah, what's going on over here?
Celebrations outside Britain's highest court after a controversial ruling is handed down.
The unanimous decision of this court is that the terms woman and sex in the Equality Act 2010 refer to a biological woman and biological sex.
The case marks the end of a long...
Oh, man. Oh, no. The world's slipping into authoritarian rule.
running dispute between the Scottish Government and campaign group For Women Scotland. The ruling excludes transgender people from the legal definition of a woman.
I'm just trying to say right now, I have held back. Oh, I got to get that off the screen.
This is not about...
It had breasts on the screen. On the sign. You fucking Europeans. I'm trying to withhold most of my comments about these people. And I will call them people, but that's about it.
about prejudice or bigotry, as some people would say. It's not about hatred for another community. It's just about saying that there are
Lord have
differences,
mercy.
and biology is one of those differences.
It means trans
Stop
women can
showing
be
tits
barred
on
from
the
some
fucking
groups
thing.
and single-sex spaces, such as changing rooms, refuges and hospital wards in Scotland, England and Wales.
Trans race! Where do we want them? No!
The court stressed that trans people will still be protected from discrimination under UK law, but campaigners say that's not enough.
Most trans people are in a state of shock and despair, and it's getting harder and harder and harder to exist as an openly trans person in this country.
We're following in the footsteps of Trump's America.
The decision has...
Cool.
That hurt for me to hear, and I'm sure it hurt for her to say.
Mikey, can I get a honka honka? We're all gonna die.
Yes, you may.
Chicken bleep
Shit.
mother frogger. That was when I went through puberty. Honka honka, we're all gonna die. Anyway,
has been welcomed by gender
Champagne.
The chicken bleep motherfucker was also appropriate.
critic J.K. Rowling, who reportedly donated tens of thousands of pounds to the
Of course.
campaigners who took on the case. On
No, nobody cares what fucking J.K. Rowling thinks.
social media, she said that in winning, they've protected the rights of women and
Whatever.
girls across the UK.
Whatever.
The right to what?
She's got more money than the Pope, and she's out here fucking telling people what they should be doing.
The British government has also signalled its support.
I think what it does do is give clarity to women and service providers.
Uncertain times for the transgender community, with the implications of this decision.
Oh, you know what? I've seen that face before. Hold on.
Service
Let me
providers.
get this thing. Vamp for me for a second.
Vamping. I'm vamping. Fuck J.K. Rowling. I don't care how many books she's written. She just gets to tell people what they do with their lives. Why are they doing this?
Mr. B.
Why are they doing this? You know what? Northern Ireland should just be given back to Ireland. That way they don't have to deal with this bullshit. Because it's so dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb, and it's based on bad science and religion for some crazy fucking reason. And the people of the UK, I say to you, don't follow us. It's bad. It's not great over here. You don't want to do that. You don't want to just do and think what we're doing and thinking, because our president is a dumb man.
He is insane.
And the right wing of this country is completely obsessed with nonsense. They're completely obsessed with this whole fucking gender ideology thing that they're going on about. That doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And once again, it's based on crazy religious shit and bad science. Yeah, and Kay in the chat says the religion angle is always a smokescreen. It is. It's just because they don't like people that's different from them. And they would prefer that everyone be the same. That's why we're trying to get the immigrants out. That's why we're persecuting the LGBTQ plus community. That's why we're persecuting trans people. Because the right wing of this party would just rather everyone be straight and
Nearly
white and probably male. I don't know if they care much for women at all.
Oh, that's where I've seen that energy before.
Hey, it's segregation.
That's where I knew I had seen the
America's old friend.
The zeal on these women's faces. I knew I had seen that before. I couldn't find the one I was looking for otherwise, but yeah. Like when you see the pictures from the 60s from the States, and there's the white women standing there clapping and screaming. Same thing with lynchings. You know, like they couldn't get enough of this. They loved it. Oh, it was great. They loved it. And but then
it boggles the mind. It boggles the mind how people could fucking do this shit.
But then when something happens, and then like the MLK of the trans community comes out, and then they have their rise, right? And they're like, I've always supported that person.
Right.
Just like they did MLK.
Right. And then they whitewash everything that person says, just like they did with MLK.
Yep.
Then they choose to ignore the things that they actually said that were far too radical for that person's tolerance. Just like MLK. Because like MLK wasn't just the dude who was trying to like end segregation. He was also trying to end poverty for children. And trying to get what the government owed people. Reparations and all that. How's that reparations thing going, Wiki?
Still waiting. Still waiting. I was trying to see if I could find those ladies. Because I have like a very specific oh, here we go. Let's see. Old-timey video coming in now.
Old-timey.
My name's Sonny, man. I live in Northern Virginia, and I think this is going to cause a lot of trouble because I don't think the white race and the colored race are ready to mix. There's too much of the Dixie left in the heart of the South, and Virginia's part of the South. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
What is your name, please, ma'am?
Eleanor R. Kelly.
And you're from Roanoke?
Yes, sir.
Whoa, R. Kelly.
Would you speak into this hairdryer for me?
Well, what do you think of the Supreme Court's order to abolish racial segregation in the public schools as soon as possible?
I just don't care to discuss that. Make you any answer right now.
I'm too afraid of it.
I'm William McKinley, right? Right, so Roanoke, Virginia. I don't think.
Brother, what is that tie?
That was the fashion.
It looks ridiculous. You look like a Dick Tracy villain.
White ass short ties like that.
If we ever need to do any skits where we need to be historically accurate, I will keep that in mind.
Yeah, you need a very wide tie, and it has to be tied very short.
I don't even know if I have any wide ties. I think all of mine are slim.
Knot.
Giant knot. Well, look how thick the fucking tie is. The knot's gonna be ginormous.
Look at the police officer has a regular tie.
Yeah.
Will happen from the desegregation because of the fact that the people of the state of Virginia have always taken care of the situation, and they'll take care of things in the future as they have in the past. Thank you very much. It is 2828 Hollins Road. What do you think of the problem?
Talking into a microphone was so not the culture yet.
I know.
It's hilarious.
Of racial
the microphone closer to your face.
I believe given some time, it will work itself out for the satisfaction of everybody. I don't believe we should hurry into anything.
Mrs. S.F. Connors, Jr.
Well, tell me, ma'am, now that the Supreme Court is...
Wait, you're junior? Wait.
Women were juniors?
Back in the 50s.
said that segregation in the public schools shall end as soon as possible. What do you think will happen in Virginia?
Well, I don't know exactly what will happen in Virginia. I hope that it will be a long time and that I won't see it happen in Virginia. I personally don't want my little boy to go to school that way, and I have said time and time again that I would do all in my power to send him to private school before I would. I think it's going to create a lot of trouble, both socially as well as otherwise.
And look at that pretty little white lady and listen to how fucking nasty and monstrous her viewpoints are.
Her viewpoints were what became white flight. She was like, oh, well, if it's going to happen, I'm going to take my kid to a private school somewhere else. Like,
and why don't we fund the schools through property tax from now on?
Yeah, that's a good idea. De facto segregation is always fun.
Yeah. So I'm glad. So I'm glad these pigeons can sit here and cluck together and coo together as if they're as if they've won something. You've segregated part of your population.
Yeah.
And you clap about it.
And they're downright giddy about it.
I don't know how we ended up being the good guys, Tim, but
I don't know.
We got more. What's this?
I've got a long list of things that we're investigating. We have the best of the best going after this. Election integrity being one of them. We have evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast, which further drives forward your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country so that voters can have faith in the integrity of our elections.
You right. You 100% right. She right.
Here's the crazy part. Didn't those voting companies, those voting machine companies already sue the shit out of Fox News?
Yup.
And win?
But she's right. People are voting illegally, Tim.
Well, I believe last time we discussed this on the show, it was in 2024, it was 0.00001% of the vote.
And they all voted for RFK.
Jill Stein.
Yeah. They all wrote in Obama.
The Director of National Intelligence, former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, over where she says is her main residence and where she actually voted in the 2024 general election. Months before Gabbard cast your data, dumbass. Her ballot in her home state of Hawaii. Gabbard and her husband declared under oath that their residency in Texas after buying a home in the Lone Star State and claiming a homestead tax break. CNN's Kyung La examines Gabbard's actions by taking...
LA Landons fund schools through property tax across the state so that all students have equal access to quality school facilities. Yeah, not by county.
Oh, yeah, we, up here in the great state of Connecticut, we do a mix of state funding and by town. And if you know anything about Connecticut, we have some of the poorest and richest towns. So you can see how well that goes.
Yeah.
Taking a look at the voting laws in Hawaii and the property tax laws in Texas.
Months before Tulsi Gabbard was sworn in as a director of national intelligence in the midst of her transformation from independent to Trump supporter.
Thank you.
Congratulations. In March 2024, she bought a home in the politically red state of Texas. Soon after, the background on some of her frequent Fox News appearances
I love the level of petty.
has changed from the slope of
This is reporting.
Oahu's Diamond Head crater.
You see them out pushing this so-called woke agenda.
To a view of the Texas state capitol.
This is personal for me, this endorsement of President Trump.
A CNN investigation found that Gabbard declared herself a Texas resident, but voted in Hawaii in the
That
presidential
sounds like illegal
election
voting.
last November. Experts say that raises questions about whether she voted improperly.
Voter integrity
Voted
is
illegally.
No, Tim.
Voted illegally.
Tim, she didn't vote illegally. She just defrauded the government for her homestead payment. She did not vote illegally. She would never do that. She just stole money.
She either defrauded the government for one reason or the other, but she defrauded the government.
a serious concern.
Why you change the subject?
And a serious issue.
On the campaign trail for Donald Trump last year, Gabbard talked about election security on stage.
GRB.
We need to
And okay, you talking about election security, and then it was like, well, I'm not flying back to Texas to vote.
be able to have trust and confidence in the fact that when we cast our vote, that our ballot will be counted in the way that we have cast it.
I agree, and your ballot should not count.
It's where Gabbard cast her ballot that's the issue here. Gabbard rents a home in Hawaii. She's lived in the Aloha State for many years. In March 2024, Gabbard bought a home in a suburb of Austin, Texas.
Which are neighboring states. They're right next to each other. You just turn left and go down Main Street for a little bit.
June 2024, she and her husband declared under oath that we are residents of the state of Texas, and their Texas home was designated as the family homestead. And she also claimed a homestead tax exemption on the house. But in the 2024 general election, Gabbard cast her ballot in Hawaii.
Wait, I got a thing for this. Hold on.
And that's potentially a problem. Under Hawaiian election rules, an individual can only have one residence for voting purposes. And if the voter has more than one home, there is a presumption that the property that gets the
Tulsi Gabbard, please turn yourself in by the end of the day.
tax exemption is the person's residence. Now remember, Gabbard designated her Texas home as a family homestead months before the general election.
So it's one or the other. So either you lied on your paperwork for your homestead, or you voted improperly. Those are your two options.
What is the problem here?
The problem appears to be that Ms. Gabbard is claiming that she's a resident.
Who's opening a Coke during the middle of their interview?
The problem appears to be that Ms. Gabbard is claiming that she's a resident of Hawaii, that she is eligible to vote on Hawaii races in Hawaii because that's where she lives. And she's also at the same time claiming that she's a resident of Texas.
Gabbard's office tells CNN that she took the Texas homestead exemption as a first step to hiding her address because of security concerns. In a letter to CNN, her attorney...
Wait a minute.
Security concerns.
Gabbard's office tells CNN that she took the Texas homestead exemption as a first step to hiding her address because of security concerns. In a letter to CNN, her attorney said Director Gabbard is...
Yeah, is your house not outside?
Right.
People will see your house.
And intends to remain a Hawaii resident. That is where she lives, pays taxes, and of course votes. Any suggestion that she is no longer a resident because she took the advice of local officials to register a homestead exemption to protect...
No. She took the advice of... No.
See, you're throwing people under the bus.
You read the paper and it said, I hereby solemnly swear that I live in Texas. It said, somebody tricked me into signing that on June 5th, motherfucker.
Her and her family's privacy is flat wrong, factually and legally.
Sometimes there are these disconnects between where you're laying your head most of the time and where you're registered to vote. But it's very different to claim a tax exemption.
I have a weird spot in the middle of the couch that I sleep in, so I can use the L of it to kind of lay all the way down.
On a primary residence, that's an indication that that's where you really live, and therefore that's where you should be registered.
So what's the bottom line here for Gabbard? Well, we spoke with
we got to get some Stone Cold on there.
Yeah.
a Hawaiian election lawyer who's handled multiple election residency cases. He says theoretically she could face a challenge to her Hawaiian voter registration, Jake, but someone would have to file that challenge with Hawaii officials.
I volunteer as tribute.
I mean...
Resident.
But later, use Fox News appeal ground for transfer.
Lock her up. That's voter fraud. Like you got to go to jail now forever. Have fun. Have fun in El Salvador. Because that's you're not allowed to do that.
This one I got just for you, Mikey.
Well, I did this. Why can't you?
Councilman Crockett did not hold back when she went off on Republicans.
Outside?
Turning a public health issue into a partisan issue. Check it out.
Tired of winning yet. We are hugely winning. We have the best of the best, right?
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Wrong. That was sarcasm if you didn't catch it. The fact is, we should never have partisan politics playing a role when we're talking about something such as science. But unfortunately, in today's times, Democrats believe in scientists and experts and data, and Republicans instead believe in conspiracy theorists. And right now, that is who we have leading one of the most important agencies in this country. Is a conspiracy theorist, not someone who has an actual resume to get the job done. So why would anyone...
For Diz in the chat, the homestead exemption is a legal regime to protect the value of homes of residents from property taxes, creditors, and circumstances that arise from the death of the homeowner's spouse, disability, or other situations. Such laws are found in statutes or the constitutions of many states in the United States. The homestead exemption in some states of the South has its legal origins in exemptions of the Spanish Empire. In other states, it was enacted. Okay, so what it does, homestead typically have 4 primary features. Here's the features. It prevents the forced sale of a home to meet demands of creditors, usually accept mortgages, mechanics liens, or sales to pay property taxes. And it provides the surviving spouse with shelter. Providing exemption from property tax on a home, allowing a tax-exempt owner to vote on property tax increases to homeowners over the threshold by bond or millage request. So you get to reserve your spot in case your spouse dies. So she was gonna live there. Like that's like
yeah, that's the whole reason.
One trusts the Republicans on anything, let alone matters of public health and safety. It has taken Texas' largest measles outbreak in 30 years with more than 500 confirmed cases and the death of 2 children for the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services to say what we already knew. The most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. This is the same guy who chaired the anti-vax nonprofit Children's Health Defense. Just last month, during an interview with Fox News, he suggested that somehow being infected with measles could provide protection against cancer and heart disease.
Oh my God. Why?
Yup. Did you hear? I mean, we don't need to watch it, but did you hear RFK give a speech about fucking? We're gonna find out what the cause of autism is because all these autistic kids are never gonna have jobs or real lives. Completely stigmatizing autism.
Remember when Elon Sig Heiled and they said it's okay, he's autistic?
Right. You can't have it. Either the richest man in the world is autistic,
or he's
autism,
a Nazi.
Yeah, or he's a Nazi. Or autism completely cripples you from having a life at all. Like, what are we going with here?
Which one is it? And also, the diagnostic definition changed.
Yeah, and it continues to change. It used to be just one diagnosis was, oh, you have autism. Now it's you're on the autism spectrum. You have some ADS disorder, right?
Yeah.
It's not just one thing. It continues to evolve as we learn more about it.
Well, he knows that. He went to medical school, right?
Right. No, he did all that cocaine. and
Heroin.
the brainworm, heroin. And he did the brainworm thing, and then he took that bear to
Central Park and left it overnight.
Park.
Left the bear out.
That's what everyone does in college, right? Everyone does that. And it wasn't even in college. He did that like 5 years ago or some shit.
Left a fucking bear.
He's a medical expert. There's certainly a PhD or an MD in front of his name, right?
Remember when they saw him on the plane and he was putting dropperfuls of that blue shit in there, that alcohol?
Oh, yeah. My favorite is Donald Trump, in order to get RFK to heal, made him eat McDonald's.
On camera.
On camera, on a plane. He's like, "You love this, right? Eat your fucking McDonald's, and then we'll be friends."
It's good, Bobby.
It's good.
Eat it, Bobby.
The Republicans are implementing the most dangerous public health agenda in modern American history, and people are literally dying as a result. This administration doesn't believe in science. They're firing thousands of scientists and public health officials who keep our food and medicine safe, slashing funding for scientific agencies that help cities and states respond to public health emergencies, limiting public access to research and data that contradicts their misinformation. They're using financial threats to manipulate which studies the government will sponsor and blocking researchers from diversifying clinical trials.
The MMR vaccine is measles, mumps, rubella.
Yeah.
Kids get it pretty young.
This reckless and chaotic approach will make it more difficult.
Ton says, release the bear! Release the bear!
For the FDA to achieve its mission of protecting the public health of Americans. But there are two issues that I want to address before my time expires. Staffing at FDA has long been a challenge. The Government Accountability Office has identified several challenges at FDA as high-risk issues. One of the bigger issues the GAO has identified is FDA's extensive workload. Last Congress, the Senate held a hearing on the sale of unauthorized and illegal vaping products and e-cigarettes. During the hearing, Dr. Brian King, director of FDA's Center for Tobacco Products, testified that the volume of pre-market tobacco product applications is overwhelming. So FDA is instead prioritizing its enforcement responsibilities when it comes to e-cigarettes products. But just last week, Trump not only fired the director of FDA's Tobacco Center, he closed two entire offices responsible for drafting new tobacco regulations and setting policies. Dr. Kessler.
Ooh, that was when I went through puberty. Honka, honka, we're all going to die. Anyway.
In its 2025 high-risk report, GAO stated that, quote, stable senior FDA and center leadership remains of vital importance to the agency. How will this vacuum of leadership impact the public health and safety of Americans?
It will put Americans at risk. But you, Congresswoman, you raised a very, very important point.
Bro, you gotta talk faster.
Yeah, a little bit. Come on, you saw how fast she talked.
You see, she ain't got that much time.
I'm the only pediatrician on this panel today, right? And your constituents, please, the most important thing is what you said. If you want to prevent measles, please have your children vaccinated against that very dangerous disease.
Thank you so much for that, Doc. And I only got 56 seconds, and I don't know if I'm going to go through my last question because I'm looking at Greg to see if he's going to make me do it. Listen, I'm going to go off instead.
Yes.
I appreciate the fact that you are an expert in this, and here's the reality. The Republicans, and definitely MAGA, loves to troll me in so many ways. And
oh, she finna preach. I need to have a shout chant in here.
The reality is that I trust and believe experts. I don't believe that I know everything. I believe that I was elected by my constituents to make sure that I could keep them safe in all ways, making sure that they are not going to be victimized if they have, say, family members that are serving abroad because of Signalgate, because of that incompetence, making sure that they have access to vaccines if they need it, making sure that they can actually provide for their family because we have real economists that are
the gentlelady's time is
whether or
expired.
not we are
Gentlelady's
time tariff war.
Is that MTG? Fucking tear her apart.
Dude, she was sitting there with 13 stopwatches and some binoculars to stare at. I'm like, she's not getting 1 millisecond over.
She slammed that gavel too.
What a little stubby hands. Little sausage fingers. Do we want their commentary or we got it? I think
Yeah, we'll do a couple minutes of Uncle Roland.
Uncle Roro.
I mean, Eugene, the reality is we are dealing with idiots. We are dealing with people who want to
never disappoints.
penalize others. And these people are about retribution. There's no doubt in my mind, and we're seeing it. We had 19 attorneys general state that their states have not gotten FEMA money that has already been authorized. It's the bottom line.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Trump hasn't said a fucking word about like the 5 or 6 natural disasters that have happened and how the people aren't getting shit. The news isn't even picking it up yet. Like there was fires in North Carolina.
Well, what about all the tornadoes that like tore through the Midwest in the last couple weeks?
It looked like everybody was fine, and then the morning after, it was like 26, 28 people had died overnight.
Right.
Nothing. Not a word from the White House.
They're cutting NOAA staff, which is important for detecting tornadoes. Yeah. And I just read today that there was an outbreak of food poisoning. I forget which disease it was that poisoned people, but the FDA didn't report it because they were told not to. And like 19 or 20 people got sick from this, and because they didn't report it out, more people could get sick. Because like if you get like an E. coli outbreak or a salmonella or whatever neurovirus, you're supposed to warn the public so that people stop buying the lettuce or the ground beef or whatever it is that's causing these. Like that's why I say like good luck fucking buying food.
Yeah,
you don't know what's been contaminated now. They're not going to tell you,
or they're just not going to check.
Yeah, and when it's reported, they'll be like, whatever.
Right. Maybe I will keep my Facebook because I have to have food safety groups.
Right.
To start warning people that there's an outbreak over here. Don't eat the lettuce from so and so.
I mean, I would encourage people to do that. If you get food poisoning from something, let your fucking neighbors know. Like, don't buy the romaine lettuce from this store because I got salmonella.
Or maybe, or at least tell the store.
Right.
Because
they can pull it from their shelves.
Yeah, because the store will do something about it. Especially if they get a couple of people in the same day, they're definitely gonna rip that off the shelf because they don't want to get sued. Not that they care about your safety, but.
I mean, that's what we got to do. We got to organize at like a community level to make up for the gaps that the government's not going to do.
Which is unfortunate.
In this frame, Roland looks pissed.
Because he wants to know.
I'm gonna need you to be drug tested.
So when it comes to public health, they don't mind killing people. RFK, when he was asked about massive cuts in his department, he had no idea. He didn't know who the hell he made the cuts. And so these people, and I'm telling you, we're on our own. We're going to have to depend upon state health departments and county health departments and the city. We cannot depend on the federal government because we have incompetent thugs who are in control.
Look, it's fine.
Hey, he said the same thing we said.
Look, man, we good. I'm talking about we good. mean, there you have it. I don't know. I mean, do I drop the mic?
Why can't you?
Well, I did this. Why can't you?
Just saying. Now look at his face. I feel like he's judging us now. I feel like he didn't appreciate that. Actually, I'll take. Thanks, Uncle Roro. I'll take that.
Yeah, that's Uncle Roland is disappoint.
Disappoint.roland.exe is running. That's funny. Chat, do you guys have any stories for us? Are we missing something?
I do have an update on what's going on at Florida State University. Without giving too many details, people have been admitted to multiple hospitals. The situation no longer appears to be active.
Okay.
They don't know much. Is what's going on, but they appear to have someone in custody.
Oh, Tim.
Yep.
I got bad news.
Oh no.
I want you to remember that we are buds, we're business partners, and I love you, man.
Oh boy, this is bad.
I need you to get back on your True Social.
Oh God. All right, hold on.
I mean, that's the only way we're gonna get policy news. And how are we gonna?
That's true.
How are we gonna find funny shit to laugh at? Because
it'll be funny if I've been banned for inactivity.
Dude.
No,
hey, yo,
it's still there,
dude.
It's still there.
Hey, you might be the only way to save us from the gulags.
What are these people talking about? They're talking about the UK Supreme Court thing.
Okay.
Let's see, what else are they talking about? Easter's coming up. Obamagate, worse than Watergate.
What the fuck?
They're
doing anything except for talking about Signalgate. Anything but that.
They said that Obama knew, Clinton knew, Biden knew.
What? Knew what?
The FBI knew. I'm reading through all the people that knew.
Knew what?
They knew @real Donald Trump was innocent, but they smeared and spied on him anyway. Worst scandal in our nation's history.
Come on, y'all. Come on, man. You got to do better than that.
Come on.
They knew
saying
it was
that,
fake. They knew it was bullshit.
I believe Senator from Maryland, Chris Van Hollen, who went to El Salvador to try and contact Garcia. They don't like him. They called him Cuck of the Day.
Brutal over there. Breaking news: Arkansas is still a shithole. Oh, tons.
It's garbage. It's most. Oh, here's @real Donald Trump 7 hours ago.
What does the Fioro say?
He says that Jerome Powell, who is always too late and wrong yesterday, issued a report.
Oh,
which was another and typical complete mess. Oil prices are down, groceries are down. Not true.
Not true.
And U.S. is getting rich off tariffs. Not true. Too late. Should have lowered interest rates like ECB all along, but he should certainly lower them now. Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. All right, let's click on @real Donald Trump here. Stupid. Congratulations to my friends Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and Speaker Dustin Burrows, along with Texas legislators for passing a school choice law. Ah, fuck.
Smash your face.
Ah.
Check this.
Is a giant.
Check the screen real quick before you move on.
100 points. I want to get straight to CNN's Phil Mattingly. Phil, let's show everybody the numbers there. The Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell spoke today and seemed
17
to
hours ago.
what we're seeing on the street. Explain.
Yeah, I think markets are reacting, one, to reality on some level, which is that nothing's really changed over the course of the 2 rather calm market days that we've seen. There is still the largest tariffs in more than a century. There's still an ongoing trade war with China, and everybody's waiting for some development on negotiations on bilateral deals or the potential
thought he was
for
gonna
that.
talk.
What changed was mostly the Fed chair coming out and making very clear this point. Take a listen.
Here we go.
The level of tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated, and the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth. Both survey and market-based measures of near-term inflation expectations have moved up significantly, with survey participants pointing to tariffs.
Now, Casey, on top of that, there were 2 additional points Powell made building off of what you just heard that I would think are...
So Trump said that guy's full of shit, and he's gonna fire him.
Yeah,
and he's gonna get the guy from Las Vegas Pawn or whatever it is. He's gonna get him in to be the next Fed chair. What's that show? Pawn Stars. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna get that guy in there.
He posted a bunch of executive orders he did yesterday. So Trump unleashes permitting technology for the 21st century. I don't know what that fucking means.
Oh boy.
The fuck? Oh. He's currently meeting with the Prime Minister of Italy.
We should probably get a list going. Just a collection of all the executive orders.
NBC has one.
Okay. Good. That way we don't have to do it.
Yes. His executive orders are so dumb.
I know.
He's got one about federal office space management that's just dumb. It's like buying and selling federal office space.
No, the buying and selling of federal office space is them firing everybody from a building and then selling the building. And then guess who's right there at that auction? They're selling it to their people.
Right. Let's see. The only other crazy fucking thing he said, he's got a long rant here. He says, "Can you believe it? A judge ruled against us on 530,000 illegal immigrants that Joe Biden flew over the border in his program to transport illegals into our country by airplane." That's the first sentence. Saying that they can't be looked at as a group, but each has to be tried individually. How insane.
Yeah.
Based on the court system, that would take approximately 100 years.
I know. That's why we should figure out something else. Like maybe getting some more judges.
What's going on with our courts? They're totally out of control. They seem to hate, quote, Trump. So, quote Trump, all caps.
They hate the Trump brand.
So much that anything goes. We're trying to bring our country back from the destruction caused by the Democrats and crooked Joe Biden. I won on a policy of common sense. And what I love Tesla. And what common sense? What common sense do we have when we have 530,000 trials?
Tim, turn towards your mic. You're roboting.
Sorry.
Continue.
What common sense do we have when you have 530,000 trials? I mean, that's the rule of law, right?
Yes, it is actually. He does know what it is. He just chooses to do the opposite.
Let's see. This radicalized judge is saying anything that Sleepy Joe Biden can fly more than 500,000 illegals into the country in one day.
I'm gonna need you to be drug tested.
But we have to hold many years of long and tedious trials to fly each and every one of them back home. Where is the justice here? Question mark, exclamation point.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna need you to go in there every once in a while and update us. Look, man, I'm sorry.
We could do, a weekly roundup. There's not a lot. There's like 10 people on this fucking site now.
Because free speech is back, so fuck your little shitty app. Dog, we're out of here. Where am I going to get my trans porn? Like, that's all they do on there.
There's a hashtag trending on this site called End the Fed.
What is wrong with these people?
I don't know. They crazy. Oh, there's Nazi stuff.
There it is.
Good old Nazi stuff.
Never takes long.
There's someone posted a map of the amount of people eligible to be deported in each state. Now you live in the great state of Illinois.
I knew you were going to do that.
Apparently, 400,000 people in your state are eligible to be deported because they're all criminal immigrants, all 400,000 of them.
You mean our Polish and Italian and
yeah, right. I mean, that's most of Connecticut too. It's either you're Greek or Polish or Italian.
Yeah, the Greeks. We got a lot of Greeks here. A lot of Indians.
So many illegal Greeks, I guess. I don't know.
And two Greeks too many.
They're just coming over and opening gyro shops.
Oh man, I can smell the tzatziki right now.
Right, yeah, shawarma and all that.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think the one thing that kind of like brings everybody together is like dope ass music or delicious ass food. Like it connects so many different like it unlocks memories and shit like that through the smells and the different tastes and textures. And then like music can like teleport you to like a memory of something from like so far away. So like, how do you not want immigrants here? Like, what American shit do you want like recycled over and over? Like what?
Right.
What in American history do you want to like transport back to? Like the 50s? The 50s sucked. All those fucking cars went 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, and they got like 5 miles to the gallon.
You'd be filmed that that's why everybody lived at the goddamn gas station, because those cars sucked. Our cars are not like a fucking Honda Civic now shits on all of those cars.
Yeah.
It was not a better time. And segregation.
Like what food, what American food would you want to eat that like wasn't
appropriated?
Didn't come from, yeah, it wasn't appropriated. Like what uniquely American, like meat pies from England?
A cheeseburger?
The cheeseburger and a hot dog, like
McDonald's and a Diet Coke.
There you go. McDonald's and a Diet Coke.
Maybe like Chicago deep dish. You know?
If you can call that food.
You, Tim. You know what? When you fucking try to drive over here, you piece of shit, I got your fucking face on a goddamn billboard. Look out for this bitch. Don't let his ass in here. You go back to fucking Connecticut where you belong.
Connecticut. I can't think of any American foods that like steak. Like, how much would you want to eat steak all the time?
I would want some Wagyu every once in a while.
Yeah, but that's Japanese.
I know. I'm a Nipponophile at this point.
Yeah, no, I
deport bad pizza. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute.
Well, we can all agree
that the Cubs fans will be first.
That California pizza is the worst.
Oh yes, for sure.
So Brenna, if you're in the chat, hashtag sorry not sorry.
I don't think I gave Alice a horn. I don't think I did.
Yeah. Scott says American food is anything with an obscene amount of cheese on it. That's pretty true. We do make a lot of cheese, and it's all cheddar.
Kay, do you hear? I forgot you were in here, Kay. Do you hear the disrespect for Illinois I have to fucking put up with? Like, I don't even love Illinois like that, but this motherfucker is just so goddamn disrespectful. I have to defend this motherfucker. Like, it's so, I hate having to do it. But fuck him, right? I'm right? I don't want to lose this.
It's okay. I don't think, listen, New York style pizza is probably the best.
It's not though, dog.
Like Brooklyn, for that giant slice of pizza. That's good stuff.
The square cut,
I
home style pizzas, like from your regular ass pizza joint, that is the best pizza.
I won't even say like New Haven's the best, even though New Haven's pretty good.
Hand
Like
tossed, decent sauce, and then the thing I like is when they put the toppings and then they put the cheese on.
I do like I have a pizza oven at home, and I've been experimenting with like different ways to do cheese pizza toppings.
You son of a bitch. He's trying to crack the code.
And toppings and then cheese is a good way to go.
Yes.
Because then you get the melty cheesiness on top of the toppings, and the toppings don't get burnt.
Right. And they don't just fall off. And maybe someone is smarter than me and they can explain why the hell pepperoni, which is a sausage, comes in little circles. And if you want Italian sausage, they put it in crumbles or little balls, and you take the first bite and they just explode into a confetti array all off of the pizza, and they're all gone now. Why wouldn't they just slice it like they slice pepperoni? It's the same fucking shape.
Have you ever gotten, like, you've ever ordered bacon on pizza, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, like, there's the pizza places that do, like, the crumbled bacon versus the strips of bacon.
Strips of bacon is the way to go.
Yeah, right? Nobody wants a little, like, just clumps of bits of bacon all over the place.
Surprise bacon.
Surprise bacon.
Detroit pizza is fucking choice.
Detroit pizza is good. I like Detroit pizza.
Some Jets.
I like the thick crust, cheese all the way to the end, sort of
every
caramelized cheese on the corners.
Every piece is an edge piece.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, you got me there, partner.
every piece is an edge piece. That's
is,
S rank right there.
Yeah, you got me. You got me.
You know what? Maybe I'll make a video with my pizza oven and I'll put it up on the Patreon so people can see how fancy I am.
You'd be probably making that little fucking... It'd be like a little tortilla with a fucking motherfucking little swizzle of fucking oil on there. Then you put one spinach leaf and you say, voila. Put that bitch in the oven for 4 hours.
Bon appetit.
4 hours at 16 degrees above room temperature. Just like a proofing oven, really.
Here's how fancy it is. I make my own dough. I don't buy none of that store-bought dough. I make my own dough.
Maybe we'll go move in with you guys. We're gonna go move to Connecticut.
I mean, we're gonna have a couple extra rooms.
So I was talking to my wife. I was like, we should just move to Connecticut, and then I'll go work on the food truck with Tim. And then she's like, that would be funny. I was like, oh my God, that would be the best stream ever.
Oh my God.
We fucking put the what's it called? Put some GoPros around.
Yeah.
And just stream the fucking working on the food truck. That would be hilarious.
It would be a lot of me saying, oh fuck, we have to go faster.
I'm pushing. I
need that sandwich now. If it's me on the grill, it's a disaster, guaranteed. It's not
okay.
Great. I mean, I got more efficient. The problem is like the ADHD sometimes takes over, and I get flustered if there's like 10 sandwiches on there with different toppings, and I got to figure out which one has to come out first.
I go into flow state. When things get hectic, that's my favorite. My brain's like, yes, the appropriate amount of stimulus.
I will say I do go into like kitchen mode sometimes, and it's just like, all right, we're gonna get this done right now.
Banging this out. Banging out the order, chef.
But I feel like there's like a health meter on that, or like an MP meter that runs out eventually.
Yeah.
And then my brain's like, oh, we're not doing this anymore.
Dude, if we fucking started like cooking together, I would fucking start smoking cigarettes. Like there's just no way I wouldn't be. I'd have to start smoking cigarettes again. It's just part of it.
Man.
It's so crazy.
But yeah, I'll post a little vid of the pizza oven. It's a little fancy. It's tiny.
Ooh.
It's a small pizza oven.
Maybe next time I do some cooking, make a little home vidya.
Yeah.
We are foodies out here. I want
I
to see
do
that
enjoy
sitcom, dude. Oh man.
I was always trying to figure out how to get like a camera on the food truck in a place that like wouldn't destroy the camera, but would be close enough to the action.
I'll just mount it to the fume hood.
Right, yeah. All of a sudden there's like plastic melting down onto the grill. I was like, oh man, that's not good.
This cheese is not coming off of here. Mozzarella. Dude, someone get a mozzarella? Someone got the Bambino? I don't know why it's the Bambino.
The Bambino.
It's got
Oh, man,
mozzarella. Mozzarella. See, we should see. In another life, Tim.
I know. We had some good names, but Bambino's a good one. I would probably be like mozzarella and chicken and fucking bacon.
Prosciutto instead.
Prosciutto, there we go. Prosciutto, chicken cutlet, mozzarella, pesto.
Yep.
Bam.
Yep. The Bambino.
Bambino.
There you go, guys. If you want to make a sandwich, you just got the best ingredients for probably the hottest sandwich that's going to be like sweeping the market right now.
It's going to taste like there's an Italian in your mouth.
I got a little accordion and a little lute playing in my head. I think this guy's Italian.
Ooh, the guy.
No, German. Never mind.
All right. Well, we should end the show before we get too hungry. Because now I'm hungry.
Dude, I just was about to say, why do we talk about food?
Yeah.
Oh, just the squeeze of not eating.
But we're gonna eat. We're gonna take a few hours, and then we'll be back with Unboxed.
Unboxed politics. Unbox your politics.
Oh, and before we end the show, I was telling Mikey before we came on, we unofficially did it, guys. We are at the requirements for YouTube monetization. We just have to wait for YouTube to catch up to us. We're in the future.
We're in the future. We are the future.
We're in the future, and YouTube is going to be like, you got to wait 5 days. So
did it.
Next time we do this show, by next week, we should have the super chats and all the other fun stuff.
I also thought about a show called The Long Weekend on Monday.
Long weekend on Monday.
And catch up on last week.
And
then play the episodes that we've had in like a 6 or 7 hour stream.
Oh, okay. There you go. Just like do like an omnibus of episodes for the week.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That way people can just jump through, because I think it auto makes the chapters now.
It does. And it
just takes like a couple days.
We have the clips from these shows as a podcast on the channel.
That's true.
We have that too. So if you want to watch if you want to like zone out and watch like 7 hours of us, you can. Or
you have to clean
you can
your
watch
tub.
If you got to clean your house and you do like I do, you can't clean and not like listen to something while you're cleaning. So I put on podcasts because I've already heard all the songs.
And even though this is a video medium, we're very expressive, so that even if you're just listening, we're painting pictures with our words.
Gina says it sounds like a sleep stream. Also, if you want to fall asleep to us,
don't bad dreams.
I don't
curse
know if
a
I
lot.
would recommend. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want people to be like having nightmares about me, but
I mean, 80% of the show is stress, just pure cortisol, just pure stress. And then we try to do like 10% at the beginning and 10% at the end, but the middle 80 is just stress.
I think that I will also go through the episodes, and I think I said I told Mikey I was going to do this, but find clips of like us talking about the same people. So like just the thing of just us talking about JD Vance or us talking about Elon Musk or Jasmine Crockett or whatever. Just do like a omnibus JD Vance. He fucks couches.
Well, we can make them like little playlists. And then just like put a thumbnail on that. What's it called?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna.
So more work.
More work. I mean, once school ends, all the stops are coming out for me. I'll be able to do more.
Hey man, I'm ready to do work as soon as we get done eating because little stinky mama is taking a nap after keeping me up all night. I'm glad she's been asleep for 5 hours. Now she's ready for another nap. It's like, oh, that's what I wanted to do too. Just
good that someone gets to sleep.
Even though you slept 8 hours before you decided to sleep for 1 hour than 5 hours. Too cute. Happy Easter, and may Estes bless us all.
Happy Zombie Jesus Day.
Zombie Jesus, you're the best little Jesus.
Like and subscribe on the YouTubes. Hit that notification button so you get all the notifications.
Well, I did this. Why can't you?
And patreon.com/TheBinPodcast. Become a patron.
I love Tesla.
And you'll get the pizza stream.
Sucking us dry and
oh God, no.
I don't like Elon Musk. I'ma say it 50,000 times.
The aircraft starts upside down and burning.
Yes, that is appropriate.
And they were coming right on top of me.
All right, let's end this.
Are we doomed? We love you.
Yes.
Goodbye, everyone. Patreon.
I did this. Why can't you?
We already heard this one, so we're gonna switch it.
What?
To the classic.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Shake your tail feathers out there.